everybody. It is a pre-game show for Tuesday. We've got 7 games on today. We've got injury updates as per usual every single day. It's good to have you guys here. Don't forget, hit the thumb, hit the subscribe, notification bell. Get ready for the trade deadline show in a bit less than 2 days, a bit less than 48 hours. So go and get ready for that one. What injury news do we actually have? Because there is stuff. We've got another update on Joel Embiid from Shams saying 6 to 8 weeks. Fred VanVleet, a week or so, maybe through the All-Star break. There you go. That does mean that Amen Thompson is a pretty surefire grab in that spot. I don't think that means that there's long-term value in Amen. He's not going to take over the starting spot as we move forward, but there you go. What else do we have? The Bronco is playing today. So Jalen Williams is back. Alex Caruso is in. Torrey Craig is in. Kobe White is in. What else has happened? Thompson is starting. Doncic is still a game-time decision. There was a report that he may not play. So we'll see. He's got a nasal contusion. Derek Lively will be out today and Thursday probably. The Grizzlies still so much unknown with them for questionable tags on those guys. So yeah, it's good to have you guys here as we get ready for this. Let's just go ahead and chuck the lineup screen up for you guys to have a look at so we know what we've got confirmed at the moment. As usual, it's always the Magic that goes first. It's Fultz, Suggs, Wagner, Banchero, and Carter. The Pacers, I imagine, will be the same. The Rockets will have Amen over VanVleet. The Heat will have Hero back in ahead of Richardson. The Grizzlies are the big question mark. The Knicks will be the same. The Mavericks, it depends on Luka. Interesting, they're playing Maxi Kleber in the back-to-back. The Nets should be the same, I'm guessing. The Bucks are big question marks because there's questionable tags on Lopez and on Lillard. The Suns, I imagine, are the same. Jalen Williams should just start for the Thunder. The Jazz will be the same. The Bulls will be the same. And the Wolves will be the same, is my guess with all of those. So that is where we are at. Good to have you guys all here. Should you trade Miles Turner? Shava did a whole show on it earlier today. If you have Miles Turner, it is literally the worst time to trade Miles Turner. Literally the worst. If Hayward stays, is he a must-add guy? I don't know. I think he's more going to be a streaming sort of a player. It really depends how much they push him, how many minutes they give him. If he plays 34 a night, then yes, I'm not convinced they'd do it, though. We will find out. Is Pods a drop now that Wiggins is back? No, I don't think so. If you've got him, I would definitely not be dropping him right now. I'd like to see what happens. They've got a Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back as well, so no. Is Halliburton's value declining, or is it staying the same, or should I just trade him? Again, Victor Wembanyama, if that is in fact you, literally the worst time to trade Tyrese Halliburton. You would not get proper value back. He's on limited minutes, and that will push up as the season goes on, so absolutely do not do that. Who's the best ad in points league? Guy in Denver, Nikola Jokic. You can find him, probably a good ad. I have no idea who is available in your league. Can I explain the Harrison Barnes music? Yeah, I used to have the full song, which is a song called Big Enough, which is the Screaming Cowboy meme, and that is by a guy called Jimmy Barnes, Barnesy, which is the same name as Harrison Barnes, Barnesy, but I couldn't use the actual song, so I found one where I was able to play the piano on it and get it in there. That's what it is. Make sense? Probably not. Only promos for Aussies or just US customers? The Grammarly one was worldwide. eBay Motors one is more for US customers. What else have I got going at the moment? Most of them are US, yeah, but like some of them are worldwide, but yeah. In your ad reads, did I mean Andrew Schultz instead of Andrew Schultz? I said Schulz is what I said, because apparently there's no T in his name. It's Schulz is what I said. What are my thoughts on burning a move? Well, you got 7 moves, so who cares? Drop Cam Thomas for Amen Thompson. Don't drop Cam Thomas, no. Amen Thompson, fine. But again, it's 4 games. It's not that much. Might be 5. Healed is droppable in 12 team. Yes, I believe so. Judd says he's excited for the deadline. Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be that exciting. And also, like, I nothing against you, Judd. I can't get, like, there's a lot to talk about. It's going to be a lot of work for me, so maybe that sours me. But also, there's just so much weirdness around it and the way that we cheer for trades. I don't know. I find it a bit weird. I've never had Tim Hortons in my life, so I do not know if I like Tim Hortons because I've never had Tim Hortons. Is there any song I know by heart? Do you mean to sing? Like, heaps. To play? Not anymore. Smith Jr.? Who's that? Thompson? Who's that? Green? Who's that? Whitmore? I don't know who that is. Or Precious. I'm going to guess that's Jalen Green and Jabari Smith, not Dennis Smith or Draymond Green. Anyway, give more information. Let's just say Jalen Green. Is Walker Kessler starting to rise in value? Just a couple of good games. James, I think it was one game. Didn't he play one big game? So I don't know. And I wouldn't trust that that's what's going to happen. Hello, Angela. How are you? Is Lillard playing? Alessandro, have a look on the screen. Big blue Q next to his name. He is still questionable. We do not know. Would I take any top 100 player back for LaMelo? No, I would not. Here we go. The Grizzlies stuff. Aldama, Conchar, Rose, and Vince Williams are all active. Tillman and Jackson are out. All right. No, I would not take a top 100. I'd take a top 50 because if you got like the 90th best player back and then LaMelo returns, well, it's a terrible trade. And often you will be able to find random guys who appear off the waiver wire who give you top 90, top 80 runs for periods of time. So no, I would not do that. Is it buying high if I trade for Kuminga now? Yes, but that would depend on what you give up in that deal. If you give up a top 80 player to get Kuminga, that is not buying high. If you give up a top 30 player, then it absolutely is. That is not the Miami Heat rumor anabolic outpost. What are my predicted Irving minutes for tonight? 35. No reason that it should be any lower than what it's been every other game. Rockets lineup confirmed. Thompson, Green, Brooks, Smith, Şengün. Pacers lineup is Halliburton, Nembhard, Neesmith, Siakam, Turner. So no Hield starting again. I think Tobias Harris can probably be top 30, top 35 rest of season with no Joel Embiid. The Milwaukee Bucks are showing interest in Andrew Wiggins, where I think I don't care. I honestly don't care. Like, so many weird trade rumors get chucked out at this time of year, and you're best just ignoring it, especially trying to twist your mind into a pretzel to try and figure out what might happen if a guy... I don't care. I haven't heard that. I don't know where it came from. Just when it happens, I'll adjust to it. No point me doing twice the amount of work to try and figure out what would happen if this guy went here or how I view it. Because again, I don't... Is that a viable thing? Is that... How the hell would they even do it? Who would they afford? Who would they send back? Did that come from Legion Hoops? Like, where did you get that info from? Will I stream a player today? Nope, I won't, no. Absolutely not. Again, if I've got unlimited ads, sure. If I've got 7 ads or 5 ads, I'd consider it. But that's it. Higher upside next month, Smith or Whitmore? Honestly, it's probably Smith, because if we're talking upside, because if Dinwiddie is dealt, then and no point guard comes back, then Smith's a 26-minute guy minimum. And that makes him like a very clear must-roster player. Whitmore doesn't have that upside. I do think that Brook Lopez plays tonight, but I don't know. How confident? Well, I'm 100% confident Vince, because Vince Williams is playing. How do I value Cam Johnson? Yeah, he was starting to play well, Ethan, and then he got hurt again today. Oh, yesterday, so he's out again. So, like a fringe player, I think is how we've got to view him. My voice sound is low, is it? What do you mean? Like the volume's not coming through? What is it? What's going on? Let me just check this thing. Is that better? I don't know. Was it too far away from my mouth? I don't know why it would be low. Is that better? What did I end up making for dinner? Good question. I made... Let me tell you the exact name of what it was called. What did I make? Sorry, so I just go back and find the actual recipe name. Seared king prawns with cauliflower puree and citrus beurre blanc is what I made. Both Lonnie Walker and Cam Johnson are having MRIs. They don't have results of them just yet. That is not good. So that definitely puts Cam back into that, what do you call it? Streaming zone. Yeah. Should Amen and Asar Thompson have guard eligibility on Dynasty Fantrax? Well, Amen has. He only plays at guard. He hasn't really... Let me have a look at the minutes that I've got assigned to him. Asar hasn't really played at guard at all, so I get that. He is a forward, really. Amen Thompson, I'm sure, has played nearly every one of his minutes at guard. Let me double check. I've got him... actually, I don't have it every single minute, but let me quickly just check that. What my percentages I have, it's most of them. And so, yes, he should be guard. I've got Amen Thompson at 7% small forward, 93% point guard, shooting guard. So 37 point guard, 56 shooting guard, 7 small forward. But I suppose you could argue that some of those shooting guard minutes would be small forward minutes because it depends on how you view him and Jalen Green. But he's definitely had at least 37% as the point guard, which is definitely enough for him to be considered guard eligible. I think Wiggins rumor reported by Jake Fisher. All right. Fisher chucks out a lot of stuff. He talks about what people are talking about. Woj and Shams report on stuff that's more likely to happen. Jake is a good source. How would they do it? They would have to send Chris Middleton back, basically, wouldn't they? Or Portis. How do you get the salary there? 'Cause it's a big salary. What assets do you give up? Yeah, that's really hard. But look, again, if it happens, it happens. It's not like Wiggins hasn't had opportunity this season to put numbers up. What are my thoughts on Sleeper? Doctor, welcome to the show for the first time. It's bad. It's terrible. Shouldn't play there until they make the necessary changes they need to make. Let's go back and see what other news we have here. We're still waiting on Luka's status. He's a game time decision. We are waiting on Case and Wallace and then a bunch of bench guys for the Thunder. We're waiting on Lillard and Brook Lopez, while Giannis and Andre Jackson are both probable, so they're going to play. So it's really Luka, lesser extent Kaysen, and then Lillard and Lopez, who are two pretty big ones we need to pay attention to. What's my opinion on Aaron Neesmith? Is his value going to decline as Hallie ramps up? I would expect so. Yeah, I would expect that. It's hard to say. His numbers and his minutes and all that sort of stuff don't really seem to have a set pattern. He might play 28, he might play 33. He shoots 80% or 30%. It doesn't really seem to be that different on guys. On if Halliburton's there. Is Kobe White going to play? Yes, Kobe White is playing. It's on the screen. You can see that on that screen you're looking at. Derek, what are my thoughts on Derrick Rose? He plays for Memphis. How do I know when it's time to bring out comedy? I don't know. I just do it and stuff happens. I don't know. Do I think Trae Young on the Spurs would be good for both Wemby and Trae fantasy-wise? It's a good question. But also, it's not going to be relevant in the slightest. I think that it probably... Yeah, look, how is it possible for Wemby and Trae to be significantly better? Not really. Like Wemby, yes, but that's more through minutes and just being more efficient. So let's say yes. I've tried to put pressure on them, Michael, through Sleeper to make things better. They don't listen. They actively work against it. So screw them. No business doing any... I'm not doing additional work for them when I've told them and they've asked and I've told them and they don't care. Yeah, I don't know about that, Kevin. Save your wave. Don't know, mate. Keep trying, though. Good. You're in the DB squad. Keep trying with that one. LaMelo's ankle is in pain now. Yeah, well, apparently it has been the last week and a half that he's been out because he's been out with soreness. Need to get rid of one center. You're playing in a terrible league, I see, Alex. Zubats, Pirtle, Okongwu, and Richards. I think Zubats is probably the guy there. It's either him or Richards. I wouldn't drop Pirtle. I wouldn't drop Okongwu. It's probably Zubats. But yeah, it's a terrible league. I already know it's a terrible league because you play on ESPN, yeah? Bad. What team to avoid for fantasy playoffs? It doesn't really work that way. It's more about trying to avoid the teams that play a week with 2 games. And depending on when your playoffs are, that could be the Lakers, the Wolves, the Hornets, or the Mavs. They're the 4 teams that have 2 games in that March-April period. What are my thoughts on Mitch Robinson from a Hartenstein perspective? Surely you shouldn't be worried. We should be a little bit worried if Robinson does return. Apparently he's starting to do on-court work after the All-Star break. I would expect that maybe it's mid to late March. We had Robinson returning, I think, the 1st of April. Maybe he beats it by a couple of weeks, and then maybe that does drop some of Hartenstein's stuff later. So Hartenstein won't be playing like 36 a night if Robinson's available. It might go to 24 apiece as a split for a bit. So yeah. Are we being too low on Pippen Jr.? You mean just Pippen? He's always produced when given enough minutes, great per minute player. Sure, but that's the problem. Is he had a good game and then got sent to the G League. And then he came back and had a good game. So I just don't... I know he's a good per minute player. I know that he's better than Jacob Gilead. But I don't Is he going to be the 12th guy in the rotation? Is he going to be a starter? It varies every game. That's the problem with all of this. What do I think of DiVincenzo the rest of the season? I think he's going to be good, and as the season goes on, he's going to get worse. Talked about him in the Sell High show today earlier as well. No, does Nembhard stay in the starting lineup? I mean, maybe. Does he get enough usage? No, absolutely not. Do I golf? No, I don't. How do I rate Coach Mosley in his tenure? Top 15 or bottom 15? I haven't actually gone through and written a list of coaching. I would say he's probably in the top 15, close to 15. That would be my guess. Yes, I have talked about Gordon Hayward being questionable, but it's in a show that you haven't seen yet because it's coming straight after this. It's interesting that he's questionable tomorrow. I don't think he's 100% a must-add. I wouldn't burn a pre-trade deadline ad on him because I think he's going to be pretty frustrating with minutes and limits and sitting and how they utilize him, all that stuff. And I think you can use him, maybe get him later on, but I wouldn't prioritize adding him right now. Am I worried about Claxton's minutes? I'm not worried, but I'm definitely watching it with Simmons back because last game he got ejected. That's why he played 31, but that was without Simmons. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I am worried that at least they take the top off a little bit. Is Io a hold for the rest of the season? Well, you don't have to decide that, do you? All you got to decide at this point is that he's a rosterable guy now, and then we'll see what happens when Patrick Williams returns. That's all you need to care about. Literally never played disc golf in my life. Paradox, how serious is the OG injury? I know as much as you, and that's nothing. They haven't told us anything, but he's out again, so it mustn't be great. Let's see if there's any more news coming through. Nope. Nothing else coming through at the moment, so that's cool. I haven't done Dribble Game. Let's go do Dribble Game. What have we got here? Come on. The last couple haven't been great for me. I had to get some help from chat, so let's see. Where are we here? Hopefully it's one I can just knock out straight away. If it ever loads. Wemby to Nurkic. So who plays on the Spurs that has played with Yusuf Nurkic? This should be easy. Why can't I figure this out? Doug McDermott? No, he was drafted by the Nuggets. He never played for the Nuggets. Trey Jones, no. Devontae Graham, no. Chetty Osman, no. Zach Collins? Yeah, Zach Collins. Bang. All right, got it. Is it time to trade Duran before fantasy playoffs? Like, why? No, not really. Doesn't really enter my head. What minutes do you think... Mo Bumba, what minutes do you think he's going to share with Paul Reed? Because it looks like it's going to be happening. Why? Why would you think it's going to be happening? Because it hasn't happened. Bumba has not played over 20 minutes at all. So what makes you think they're splitting minutes? Because they're not. So you're going to ask me whether I don't agree with waiver priority, but I should use your second priority. I don't care about waiver priority. I'd assume he's probably going to be a top 100 guy for 3, 4, 5 weeks. I don't know. And he should be on rosters, so I don't care about second waiver priority. Although, you could make the argument with less than 2 days to go before the trade deadline that maybe holding on to that for something else to pop up is more worth it. And especially if your league has been sitting on Ayo Dosunmu and he's been sitting around for this long, when in a lot of other leagues he would have been grabbed 2 weeks ago, that maybe there's not going to be a significant urgency to go and get him if you don't use your second waiver on him. Although, again, waiver priority is only for guys that get dropped. It's not for the players who are sitting around on free agency. So I ignore that for the trade deadline. It doesn't really matter then, does it? Because the guys that you'd be looking to add after the deadline are not players that are going to get dropped. So, who cares? Use it. Andrew, again, I detailed this yesterday. You think he doesn't like Paul Reed? Cool, whatever. Look at the last 2 weeks. It's not hard to see that Paul Reed's had 2 bad games, which Nurse said he was sick for. Nurse may not love him. That's cool. But we have got ample evidence of what he does. It's there. Anyone, drop him whenever you want. Anyone could connection on something. You coming back? Yep. So how many ads have you got for the week, Lucas? Because if you've got 4 waiver ads, that's silly. Precious is still giving value at the moment. Is Precious going to give you more or less than a Men Thompson? Probably a little bit less, but is it worth burning an ad? Don't know. Can Bowl the OG get around 15 to 20 minutes? It doesn't look like he's healthy and they haven't played him. So I don't know. I'd say unlikely. Could I say Koulibaly have a good chance to gain? Yeah, good chance to gain value, maybe. But he's already playing 27, 28 minutes a night. It's not like the opportunity's not there. You just need Kuzma or Poole to not be there, or Jones to not be there, or two of them to not be there, and then for him to actually take on a big usage role, and I don't think he can. So I'm not expecting huge things from him. I would guess that Halliburton plays between 20 and 21 minutes tonight with my guess. So you said 22. Yeah, 20 and 22. Is Jalen Green a drop? What are you talking about? Like, this, I've never seen Jalen Green play better than what he has the last 2 weeks. So it definitely wouldn't be dropping him at this point. It might transition back to that, but no. Would I ever buy an Apple Vision Pro to stream 5? No, I would not. Stream Nembhard or Buddy tonight. I would not stream anybody, Peanut. Wouldn't stream anybody tonight. Unless, again, do you have unlimited ads? Because that is a waste. And Buddy played like 11 minutes last game. Drop Hardaway from men over Caruso. 10 points. Like, finesse. Hold your waiver ads. Just people don't listen, obviously, which is cool. Whatever. Do I think Jordan Nwora could carve out a role worthy of a 12-team spot? Only if they start fake injuring players and they trade other guys away. At the moment, at best, he's the 10th guy in the rotation. I would think to be a 12-team guy, he would need to be the 8th guy in the rotation, so 7th, and so a couple of guys are going to be out. I don't know why Memphis is doing this with their injuries. Well, I sort of do. They're preserving some guys, and they're trying to tank a little bit, but it is pretty frustrating, obviously. Would I trade Maxey for Irving? I wouldn't want to be getting Kyrie Irving with his unreliability and the 2-game playoff week, although obviously Maxey's value is down a little bit, but Kyrie would not be the guy that I would be trying to get. Luka is playing. There you go. So we've got news on that. Luka is in. Kyrie is in. I still don't have that Heat lineup. Oh, that's a later game anyway. Do they play NBA games on Australian TV? I mean, sort of, but like, yeah, we can watch NBA games here. Is that what you're asking me? Like, yes. Bailey, I've never done Supercoach ever, so I won't be doing it this year, no. Any special guests on the deadline shot? Well, Kingy's going to be on. Dan Titus is going to be on, and Kayla Fonte is going to be on. Don't know if anyone else at this point. What do I think Wemby gets shut down after he reaches 65 games? Couple of things. Rookie of the Year doesn't have a 65-game minimum, so that's pointless. As a general rule, players don't just sit out when healthy. That is, like, 99% of the time, there's no, like, fake injury that makes someone sit down. That's just not what happens 99% of the time. So, no. Ooh, if I was coach of Brooklyn, what would I use when everyone is injury-free? That's really good. Their roster's a little bit misaligned. I would have Bridges in there and Claxton, obviously. I would have Cam Johnson in there. Then it comes to the guards. Yeah, Ben Simmons and Claxton don't work particularly well, but I don't like Dinwiddie being in there. I'd probably consider Dennis Smith and Cam Thomas as the 1 and the 2. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do. After so many years playing fantasy, does your fandom for certain teams ever come into decision consideration for you? Nope, never. It's more fun to watch the guys I like pop off for me. Well, for me, I have to pay attention and have as much focus on literally every single player in the league. So if you think that, wow, you hate this guy, it's because I just have an opinion that doesn't align with your excessive fandom. Or if you think that I love this guy, it means that I just have an opinion on him more than you don't value him. Like, I don't have guys that I love as fans that are like, I can't wait to watch this guy, or a team that I can't wait to watch. I don't do any of that thing. But because I just have different opinions and valuations of players, if they don't line up with the way other people view things, or I take a longer term view, or you try and exclude variance from my discussions, it makes me seem like I love someone or I hate someone more. Right. I tend to be like, hey, I think this guy's really underrated, so I'll always talk about him. Therefore, that makes it seem like I really love the guy. I'm not going to go out of my way to go and watch a game of Derek White playing. But for years, I've just thought he's been highly underrated as a player, and therefore, like, whenever I would come to discuss him, I'd think that he was better than people were giving him credit for. The same as like Rui Hachimura, where, like, I don't think he's bad. I just think that people's expectations or their assessment of what he is way above the reality of it. But no, I don't have a specific players or teams like that. No, Aiden. Oh, look, I did play a little bit of basketball, but not much. It wasn't something I played a ton growing up. Played a few seasons when I was a bit older. Who's my comp? Someone who can't shoot, like Reggie Evans. Scottie Pippen, back to the earlier question, inactive today, not playing. They're not playing. This is the problem. This is why he's not getting talked about. Bailey, go back to the Supercoach. He says Supercoach is way easier than NBA. My problem with Supercoach, Bailey, is A, I need a break from fantasy, but B, the fact that they have a hidden formula and they don't tell you what it's about is ridiculous to me. The fact that you can't actually sit there and try and project stuff out based on how you think things are going to go versus their random formula of impact and time and does this mean this? It's ridiculous. They just give a number and we go, oh yeah, that's the number. How do you possibly play fantasy? Imagine this in the NBA. This is what AFL Supercoach is, one of the fantasy formats here, where you're playing a fantasy points league and the point scoring system is just trust us. That's all it is. It's Jokic got a 50 today. Oh, okay. You got a 70 last game. All right. His stats are the same. Yeah, but, different. That's how it is. They just make it up. They have this. How stupid these idiots are is they have a formula for the fantasy points that they give and they don't tell you what it is. Just a ridiculous format. What's my guess for a men's line tonight? Well, I'll go and tell you what I have him projected at today. Obviously, there is projection stuff that varies quite a bit. What do I have a Men Thompson at today? 14, 7, and 5 with 1.8 steals. So let's go 14, 8, 5, 2 steals is my projection for a Men Thompson today. Which is pretty strong. We're getting ready to get out of here. 3 minutes to go. You got 7 ads. Yep, we'll stream guys in then. Is Dylan Brooks an ad for 12 team? If you got 7 ads and drops, I don't think I'd waste one on Dylan Brooks. It's not like Dylan Brooks wasn't getting minutes and opportunities before. The more he shoots, the worse it ends up because he ends up missing more shots. So I don't think he's a huge priority, no. When is Desmond Bain coming back? Nobody knows, Ken. We don't know. He could be out for the entire season. He could be back at the end of March. I don't know. How did basketball want to start? I don't know. I didn't start at Usman, so I can't tell you exactly. I wasn't there at the start. I have not read 1984 by George Orwell. Do I watch the games or do I look at box scores? I have to do both. Is Gilead a pickup in deep 12s? I wouldn't bother streaming Jacob Gilead in at this point with the deadline coming up. I would not bother. Is Bobby Portis about to pop off under new coaching? Not really. No. He's getting more minutes now because Brook Lopez has been out, but I don't think the coaching really changes much. No Marcus Smart update, no. Do I see him playing a lot when he comes back? I don't think he'll play to the end of the season, no. My thing that I've said the whole way through is the guys that I believe will be traded are D'Angelo Russell and DeJounte Murray. Where they go, I've got no idea. We're getting ready to get out of here. Yes, Jaren Jackson is out. We are still waiting on Lillard and Lopez. I don't think Lopez is going to play, to be honest now. It seems like his partner might have given birth today, so I don't think he's going to play. Lillard, I wouldn't be shocked if he sits there as well. All right, we are getting out of here. Thanks, everyone, for being a part of the show once again. Hit the thumbs up on the way out, and I will. There's a show coming up straight after this, so check that out too. And I'll see you guys next time.